live on Facebook. We have Annika, who is part of the organizing committee for the North Hill Community Anguilla Day Beautification Village Program, and who's going to guide us through what we're having here now is Annika. And we're going to give you a tour of what the North Hill community has put together. So, who's going to guide us is the lady herself, Annika. As you can see, Annika, there are some buntings um, over the road. Tell us about it.
The buntings are in the three anguilla colors that represent, and the anguilla colors represent strength, endurance, dignity. Those are very important to us here in North Hill. North Hill has so many strong people. There is so much people who have gone on to do great things in Anguilla and other places in the world. We have been home to a premier in
Yes.
North Hill. We have been.
First Chief Minister.
Yes, yes.
Second Chief
But
Minister.
one of the chief ministers, he's a native of North Hill. We have persons who have built boats in North Hill, not only for Anguilla but also to export. We have persons who have kept Anguilla's legacy alive. There's so much history in North
Sombrero.
Hill, Sombrero, which is what we're going to pull up on right now as well.
Okay. How ironic.
We're going to pull up on Sombrero right now. Yes, so we're going to turn into that right now.
Wow,
And we
this
are
is
going to pull up
beautiful.
on Sombrero.
This is beautiful.
And we'll be able to give you the history of all of this here in a little bit. But this is part of our main attraction for this year's Anguilla Day display. And we thought it was important to bring some history to North Hill and to all of Anguilla to remind them that Sombrero is an island, it belongs to Anguilla, and it is so significant to who
Wow.
we are as a people. Yes.
This is beautiful, folks. We're gonna go out and Annika, we're gonna show the
Sure.
folks what we have here. Alright, folks, just give me a second. Yes, Annika. Tell us.
Well, we're going to go to the Sombrero site. This is the Sombrero site here. Yes, and the Sombrero is a rock. We have the Girls Brigade here with us this afternoon as well. This is part of them learning the history of Sombrero. Sombrero is Hat Island. That's how it got its name, Hat Island. But it really emerges out of the ocean. It's just a rock out of the ocean, which is really, really important to the Anegada Passage. It is really important to the Anegada Passage because of the lighthouse that exists there.
Right.
There's a story that tells us that in 1943 it went out for 20 minutes and they had about 42 accidents for 20 minutes, and it shows the significance of Sombrero. And I think every Anguillian should understand what is so significant about Sombrero and why it is important for us to know the history and the legacy of a place like Sombrero. The persons who walk there, they are our people who walk there. They live there, some lost their lives there. Yes. Yes.
Annika, I'm seeing two what you call platforms. What are those? I see one on the left, on the right, and then there's a big tower on the left.
The first one that you're seeing, the one that you're seeing on the left, would have been the old tower.
Wow.
And so that's just the remains. And if you would go to Sombrero right now, and if you look on the board, you will see that that still exists. And the new building would be the new tower and the house that the keepers lived in, the persons who lived there, they resided in those houses.
That is really unique in terms of how you guys bring this out and display here for history, for people to understand who haven't been to Sambiro. For those who've been to Sambiro, a refresher because this is real history that we are looking at here.
It is. And again, I know that it is the month of pride. We talk about patriotism. And part of being patriotic is remembering all of what we are as a people, because this is part of Anguilla, and we need to ensure that our young people and old people understand the significance of Sombrero to Anguilla.
And I see, Annika, you have something in your hand. I know what it is, but I would want you to tell folks exactly what we're looking at.
This is the Wasp Bite. The Wasp Bite, the MV Wasp Bite. This was one of the ships that would have taken them, the main ship that would have taken our men to Sombrero, the MV Wasp Bite. Yes. And it is significant to our history. It was owned by
So, Emil
Sir
Gums.
Emil Gomes. The Wasp Bite was owned by Sir Emil, yes.
Yes. Um, I've been to Sambiro under Wasp Bite, then Wasp Bite, and I'm not ashamed to say I was seasick for 3 days when I returned. Up to 3 days, thought I was still on the ocean, and but it was a lovely experience that that took place, and for such a beautiful replica to be still around, that is remarkable.
We also have a photo of it there from. We have a photo of it there from underwater. That was the Wasp Bite in action. That's the photo of it right there, in action.
You got to try now. Okay, you got it. A Wasp Bite in the ocean.
Yes, in action.
And I see you have the Sambiro in letters over there.
Yes.
What's that all about?
Well, one, it's several fold. One, it is really to introduce this to persons who would not know about it. Two, sometimes we've mispronounced the word sombrero for a very long time. We call it sambira. So it's also a lesson for us to learn the correct spelling of sombrero, because that is the correct spelling. For very long, I thought it was sambira. So now we have the correct spelling of it. And three, it's aesthetic, and we wanted to merge it into the Anguilla colors for the aesthetic as well. And that lights up.
Oh, it
The
does.
sombrero light, it lights up, and also the tower lights
Right.
up.
I'm
Yes.
seeing a light on the tower
That
right now.
lights up at night, is going to light up, and every few seconds it's going to send out a flash to tell the persons on the road to be careful. Yeah, that's the same thing. Like, that's what Sombrero has been doing, protecting lives, and that's what we're here doing, protecting lives. And I think I'm destroying the Wasp Bite. Not good. Thank you, Lana. And though the sombrero there lights up as well, symbolic of it being a lighthouse, so it lights up.
This is really, really interesting. As I was saying, this is very. We do apologize for that break just now. We had a few technicals. We had to. Yes, it's rough on the ocean. Yeah, we stepped into the ocean and we weren't really prepared for that. So it put us out. And just now, talking about the rock Sambiro, we have. I remembered. You come on the small boat. The Waspite would stay out, anchored off on the western side of Sambiro, and we get in a small boat. As you can see, there are packages, boxes in a small boat, and we would oar up to the ladder. We'd oar up to the ladder, and so we'd oar up to the ladder and climb up. And there. I missed something. I missed the tackle. There was a tackle that would the big boxes would be hoisted off the small boat up onto the rock itself, and smaller packages, folks would come up, and I will say, right, the first time I went, Minky,
Yes, we have him on the board.
Minky greeted me, chewing his tongue as usual.
Of course.
And a number of others. I don't remember if it was Pops also, but a number of others that were there, and they cook us a nice meal. What I do remember though is the ground lizards.
Yes.
The ground lizards were tame. These were black lizards, and they were tame. They walk on your foot as if it was a cat. So Annika, you said we're gonna go by
The board.
the board.
Yes, the board has the history and all of the things you're talking about, and the people you're talking about, you're going to find on the board here. It has the
Looking
story.
right there.
Yes, see, you're going to see everything right here. The lizard, the history. You're going to see Minky chewing his tongue, Pops, Donald, Ozzy, Owen. You're going to see all of them
Do
right
we
here
have
on
the
the
burial
board.
ground also?
We don't have the burial ground here because we could not recover that one. We
Okay.
just couldn't get that one, but we are cognizant that it exists. We
Yes.
just couldn't get that one, yes.
This is good history,
It
not just
is.
for North Hill people, but for Anguilla.
Yes, that's true because some of the workers were not always from North Hill. A
Right.
lot of them were from North Hill, but if you would find, we have several of them. Some was Long Ground, the Farrington, South Hill. We have them from different places, the different persons from different places. This is the lizard you were talking about, the
Yes.
sombrero ground lizard.
Yes.
And it's a black lizard with the dark green or black spots on its tail.
Yes.
It's indigenous to Sombrero.
Right.
An endangered species, by the way, and the Anguilla National Trust did a whole program to preserve them. And in 2018, there were less than 100, and now they have over 1,600
Wow, that is great.
because they had to get rid of the mice who were eating them. So
Oh.
they did a program. So it's now a Ramsar site where the endangered species can live. The bee, this bee here, is only found there as well on Sombrero.
That is so cool.
Yes, and we have the mass booby and the birds, the terns, the different birds that reside on Sombrero.
One of the things that one of the things during the bird season was the eggs coming up from Sambiro for the different families, and we look forward every year for our eggs to come up.
The best
Yes,
eggs because they were speckled. They
yes.
were white with black spots on them. The best
And
eggs.
they were softer.
They were softer eggs, and we have a photo with some of them here.
I
You
see
can
a
see the
bird
birds
with some of
laying.
them.
Yes, they're
Yes,
laying.
right
These are
there,
the
yes.
eggs here. Yes, and remember, Samira was also a mining site
Yes.
where they mined guano.
Yes.
There as well, the Americans used to mine guano. They used to get fertilizer from America from Sombrero
Yes.
until all of the resources were depleted. I guess the birds stopped. They decided to strike or something. I'm not sure what that means, but they did, yeah.
So, can you give us some of those names of Sambiro workers?
Yes. Donald Sugar Lloyd. We know him, Donald. Samuel Pops Richardson. And Pops resides right above there.
Yes.
Yes. Arnold Gums, Jeffrey Gums, Wilfred Gums, Keith Gums, Shelley Brooks, Samuel Richardson, Monsell Lloyd, Walter Proctor, Oswald Owen, James Henry, Raleigh Carty, Vanny Lloyd, Wendell Thomas, Arnold Bryan, Eric Owen. Cephas Uriel Richardson, Edmund Gomes, Joel Beres Richardson, Joseph Petty, Winston Gomes. Winston Gomes, we have two of those, one from Long Ground and one North Hill. Emerson Gomes, Wilson Niles, Reuben Carty, James Hodge, Lil Willie, Winston Beard, Mackenson Joseph, Hubert Niles, Hugh Owen, and Clinton Richardson.
Okay.
Yeah,
That is so cool.
it is, isn't it?
Yes. The way that the North Hill community has depicted Sambiro and putting it as part along and parcel along with Anguilla's culture and history is really remarkable.
Well, Sombrero is part of Anguilla, and I think sometimes our history books don't tell us about our real history, the true history of Anguilla, and this is part of the true history of Anguilla. It is 34 miles away from us, and it is part of our island, and it's such a significant part. Remember, Sombrero has been the savior of so many because of the lighthouse, and that is why we wanted to depict it, because you can't talk about culture, you can't talk about Anguilla, and you cannot speak about patriotism until you speak about the patriots who saved so many lives, thousands and thousands and thousands of lives in that Anegada passage, and they are from Anguilla. Every one of them are from Anguilla. So from the first time it opened in 1868 until when it shut its doors with physical workers in 2001, Sombrero has been saving lives, and it still continues to do that with the automated lighthouse. So we can't speak about Anguilla and our history unless we recognize that significant impact.
Right.
Yes.
As part of the beautification of North Hill, I know that this isn't your only site.
No, it isn't.
Um, you're going to keep us in suspense.
Well, yes, we can take our. I think all of us are going to journey down to the next site, and I would like if you would speak to some of our team members so that you can understand. It was a group effort because community is what it is. It's a community effort, and while the ideas may not have been community wide, the execution has been community. So all of us have had some impact, and I think that's what really matters, especially in this day and age where we're also very concerned about the state of Anguilla. And the truth of the matter is that you can't effect change really sitting down in a room. You effect change by going where the young people are, having conversations with them. And this is such a big part of that, where we've involved the youth, we've involved all of them. We are having conversations and we are saying to them, hey, we're here and we're going to listen. You know, we're going to listen to you. And you want to put youths in spaces where they're not afraid or they don't feel judged. And I think community work is part of doing that. And that is what we have done here in the North Hill community with this project. We've put them in spaces where they're comfortable. Painting is comfortable. And you can just have a conversation with them while painting. Putting up this is comfortable. And I think that is one of the good things we've done with this community project. We've engaged the youth and we've shown them that we are here for you. And that is a very important conversation we should be having in every community in Anguilla.
Right.
So we're going to go down to the basketball court and just below the Zion Methodist Church to see the other displays. And if you're looking at our team members here, we're all color coordinated. Yes. Bernard is one of our carpenters right there. The sign at the front of the road he would have erected. We all know Bun. Bun, you know Bun. Bun
Yeah,
walks
yes,
non-stop. He's
exactly.
always available. Where's Hubbard? Hubbard as well. They do everything, whatever you need done.
Tan daughter. Yes,
Oh, she's there. Yes, 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 yes. So, but everybody has helped.
And Pam.
And Lana, Bun, from the very first day we started, Lana was there as well. Yes.
And everybody.
Yeah. And we see the minister, the representative from North Hill is here. He comes out and he works with us as well. The Honorable Merrick Richardson, he works with us all the time. So we appreciate that as well. And this is not about politics. This is about community. So we appreciate that he comes out and he does that.
Yes. There's one spot I want us to go to while we're up here. Hi, Lady G.
How you doing? Nice. You're in my area, North Hill.
Oh, lovely.
I'm from all over, you know.
Yes, you're Anguilla girl. Hi, hi, Kathleen. We have this loblolly tree beautifully adorned with the Anguilla colors, and the roots are also painted with a turquoise blue. And I this for me means so much, and I want Annika to. She don't have to go through all, but just give us a few of these folks.
Oh, this board is, I think this is the most touching part of always doing this display because it's the persons that would have transitioned and the persons who are significant to everybody here in North Hill. Because everyone has a loved one here on this board.
Including me.
Yeah, you do. You have Day, and I do. I have Tan, I have Garolyn, I have Volcine. You know, we all feel the loss here, but instead of just always mourning it, we celebrate it
right.
because North Hill has been built on the shoulders of these persons here,
Yep.
and we can't exist without them, and we would never have an Anguilla Day display without this in memoriam board. When every year to do it, there was a problem because you're like, oh my gosh, I wish we didn't have anybody to add. But because life is as it is, there's always somebody to add. But we do so reverently and in great respect, understanding that we walk or we stand on their shoulders. And that's what this is about, remembering them. So while they are not here with us physically, my sweet grandmother, I think of her very often, Tan,
Tan,
like all
what
the
a lovely
time.
lady.
And everything I do in my life, I owe it to my sweet grandmother who believed in me from a child and always told me, you're going to sit in rooms that you don't even understand yet. You know what I mean? Like she put that in me. So every day I walk and every day I go to work, I remember that my grandmother manifested this. And I know that there are other stories from other people as well about persons on this board that we haven't heard yet, but this board is symbolic of that.
I see on the card, I have to zoom in on
You see, this would be you here.
it. Yes.
Yes.
Folks, let me see if I can bring it in and get it in focus. I would be able later to get I recall a screenshot of this because we have Gardenise, Pepe Hubert, Cousin Elsie, Annette, Marjorie, that is Day. Those are my brothers. Iwande, Dale, we call him Pinta Bean, and Mickey, my nephew. This is really beautiful, and it's like for a journey for folks to take
Yeah.
back in remembrance.
That's why it's in memoriam.
Yes.
And that is, again, that is so important. We can't do any of this without the persons whose shoulders we stand on. And we stand on the shoulders of everybody here.
Yeah.
Because I could remember Pepe and Cousin Nisi. They were our neighbors. Braji, he had such a great singing voice in the choir, Ninkani, who could play that organ in her very high heels. And I always watched on the way she walked with such grace. So there's so many stories. Reverend Wycherley, who was our shepherd here in North Hill. There's so many things we could remember here. So this is why it's good for persons to come and see it, and not only see it, but think of their loved ones and remember the great things about them. Not to cry about it, but remember the great things, because there are a lot of great things to remember about the persons here on this board, because they are still part of who we are as a people in North Hill.
Yes, we had to make this stop first before we carry on.
But Lloyd, we also have on this
and
side
the
the
boats.
boats,
Oh my goodness.
because we can't forget.
What is wrong with me today? Going without seeing the boats.
Yes. What I'm going to do is I'm going to turn you over to Roxana so she can talk you through the boats, if that's okay. Because I don't want my voice to be the only one that they're hearing the whole time. So I'll let Roxana talk you through the boats.
Well, let's start with this right here.
Oh, the sign. Okay, let me finish up on the sign. These signs were built by Oliver Richardson Kochi, a North Hillian. He built these.
Wow.
These light up at night as well. These light up at night. And this was his contribution to what we do here in North Hill. Yes. And there's a sign across the street that Rasta Will would have built.
By Moses.
Yes, Moses. Rasta will build that. Moses, he built that one as well. So again, everything here is handcrafted by persons from North Hill. And then the boats now, I'm going to turn you over to Roxana, and then we're going to head west, okay?
Yes.
Good afternoon.
Yes. So, give us a walkthrough about the boats, how it came about, and the whole philosophy.
Well, I'll let you know. We actually started with just the boats. The first year we did our first display, before we were even in the competition and such, we just wanted to decorate North Hill because we are a patriotic village. And we recognize all persons from North Hill who made an impact. So we started with boat racing. And the boats, we can go closer live so you can actually see the boats. The first boat, we highlighted all the boat builders and carpenters that are from North Hill. And all of these persons are from North Hill. People like Ivo, Boo, and we have nicknames because most persons know by their nicknames. Nick, Kochi, Drift, the famous Drift. Drift was a boat builder, is a builder here in North Hill. Skibby Wayne, Kadim, who actually built these, who cut these boats out initially for us, Kadim and Ralston. Those who contributed so much. So all of these were the first boat builders here in North Hill. And then we went on with the names of the boats and the boat captains, all are from North Hill. Collins Richardson with the Lady May, and Charlie.
Talking about the lady.
Charlie, Captain Charlie with the Real Deal.
Well.
We have the Decision with Captains Tucker and Henville. So all of these captains are portrayed, and We even have a stake boat.
Peter.
Peter was the stake
Go,
man.
Peter.
Even though he wasn't a boat captain, he played a very crucial role when it came to boat racing. Every race, he was the stake man. So we had a boat to highlight him specifically as well.
But remember too that there's a race, the
Yes,
Peter
the
Parkins.
Peter Parkins race
Right.
every July. And we paid tribute to Peter in this way by giving him his own boat. And we can continue going along, Lloyd. Boo, Emile Lloyd, was the captain of the Dragon, which then became the Satellite. So that was the initial name of the satellite.
I was wondering what
It was the Dragon.
Thanks for that.
And then we highlighted Captain Carlo, who was also a captain of the Satellite, and the current captain, who is Buster, also from Northhill origin and such. And we have some older boats now that persons may not be familiar with. This is why we have this as a lesson. Lady May again with Paul and Aristo, who were captains, brothers from Northhill, Northhill Sandy Ground, but Northhill by extension. And Evan Owen and the Concord and the Superfly.
Yes.
These are boats that I learned about because I wasn't too familiar with them. So it was a lesson for me as well, and the persons young like me and younger than me, to learn about these. Botti had the Saga Girl, and
Emile had a Saga Boy.
and Lenny was the captain of the Saga Boy. And we also highlighted Caleb Richardson, who is the youngest boat captain currently and is from Northhill.
And a champion.
And a champion at that, that's right. Who took over from his father, Charlie. So his legacy, not just legacy, but legacy in all farms here in Northhill, especially with boat racing.
Wow. So folks, we have here on one end, we have the Saga Boy, which was captained by Lenny for many years. And that was owned by Emile Gomes.
That's right.
And then we have the Saga Girl, which was owned by Bertram Richardson. We call him Butty.
Okay, so and all of that, Lloyd, contributes to this portion up here. We're gonna move down through the rest of Northhill because this is not just a one-stop shop. We have gone through the length and the breadth of Northhill to try and portray our culture, because we are a richly cultured village here in Northhill with a lot of history that we are going to share with you. So then you're going to go with Annika. We're going to head down to the big yard. We can learn about the big yard as well and what that means to Northhill, and we can learn about the pieces that are down there as well. So we're going to head out there now.
So yes, folks, we are gonna change over. We're gonna go down to the big yard. Well, we know it as the big yard. For you guys, it will be something totally different. So yes, here we go. Cousin Merrick, sorry, Prince.
Sorry, Lloyd. But look, you're not the Gavin Prince in Northhill, but anywhere else,
Hey Merrick.
that answer.
Hey Merrick.
Who's that?
All right, folks, just bear with us a second again. We have to make a change out. And we are going to another session of the beautification for the village competition. So we saw a lot of history there. Give us a sec, we're just changing out. Oops. Getting it right. Gotta put on our seatbelt.
Yes, that's important.
Yes. Okay, that took it, drop it off. Okay. Hold this. So tell us, Annika.
We are going to go down now to the western side of Northhill, where we're going to show you the other two sections. What we did is that we put colors throughout. We went down to the point and we added colors as well.
On the point.
Down persons who live down that area, we added
Yes.
because we would hate for them to feel as if they're not included. So we put colors down there for them to celebrate as well. And we also did several other areas down here that we're going to show you, and we're going to show our viewers.
Okay.
And then we're going to be able to speak to the significance. The representative for this district will speak to the basketball court and the significance of that, because he's involved in the coaching aspect of persons there at the basketball court. So he'll speak to that, and then we'll talk about the other site. So you're going to find down here we put flags on the pole again to remind
that,
us.
yes.
The flags are on all the poles to remind us of who we are, where we came from, who we are, because Anguillians fought for us to be free. And we should never take that for granted.
Right.
So the flags are there. They're symbolic of that. The colors as well. The buntons we have up, again, symbolic of that. The strength of our people in Anguilla. And the colors remind us of what our forebears fought for and why we should protect it with all we have. So that's why we have them here. And you see persons being patriotic with their bows on their houses.
Yes. And I see a lot of cleaning, vegetative cleaning. Annika, when I said to Jamai to set up this live, I told him to get an Anguilla flag, and he got the three dolphins.
Yes.
Yes, and that was important. I see this is beautifully decorated here, by the carnival.
Yes.
Um,
We try to put a symbol almost at every corner or every station in the corner bar is one of the significant businesses in Anguilla.
Yes.
Because hundreds and hundreds of people traverse into North Hill just to go to the corner bar.
Bar pizza.
So Mr. Venice and Miss Lana, they are significant entrepreneurs to Anguilla. And we have, again,
yes.
colors on this pole. We have that. And we have a flag hanging here. You're going to see the flag hanging here at this corner. And we put one at this corner to remember Miss Madeline and Mr.
Madeline and
George.
George,
Yes. Deceased, but we still wanted to remember them because they were significant to the history
Yeah,
of
and
North
Delhi.
Hill. Yes. And Delhi. Yes. That family, they were significant to us here. So we
next to
put
the
that there
church
in
was,
remembrance of them. Yes. We also decorated the church because the church is a sanctuary.
Yes.
And Anguilla is a sanctuary to so many. So just like the church is a sanctuary, Anguilla is also a sanctuary. So we're going to go up now to the basketball court so you can see what is going on here, what has happened here in the transformation.
I can see so far that the stands have been painted with the colors.
They've also been refurbished. We went ahead, some of them were not doing very healthy.
Yes.
So we went ahead and replaced the wood. We got proper wood in. The representative for the district, I think he'd be in a better position to speak to the significance of this area because he plays basketball here with the young ones quite often.
Right.
Yes.
All right, folks, just give us a second again. We're going to be transitioning. So give us a sec. This is all live happening. You representing, Lana? All right. Represent yourself. Yes, man.
In my hometown village, North Hill.
Yes.
Oh, no, yes, you gotta keep the tongue.
We have with us now the representative for the North Hill community, District 5 representative, elected representative, the Honorable Merrick Richardson.
Right. Just so you know, I don't play favorites. I don't have favorites, but Natal is the best village in Anguilla. But that's just a fact. That's not me being playing favorites or anything. So we're here at the Natal basketball court. If anyone was in the village a few weeks ago, they would have seen the state the court was in. Now, if you look here, you can just see it's awesome. We are painted up in the Anguilla Day colors. The paint was donated by the Archards, Garrett and Catherine Archard. They donated the paint, and the work was all done voluntarily. I know the Boys Brigade, they came out in their numbers and did an awesome job in painting the coat up. We have it here beautifully done. We actually, during the jollification and tree planting, if you go on either side, you'll see where we did some. Yeah, we did some tree planting up there, and if you put your camera on, you can see the blisters on my fingers still from all the digging we did. Because what I realized there and then is Natal is pure rock, man. We did some digging. We actually had a very, very good turnout for that as well. I mean, this whole week, Lloyd, if you've been through Natal, I mean, it reminded me of growing up in the village. This whole week, every time you come in the evening, you see the persons out in their numbers. They're coming home straight from work and they were hitting the streets. I mean, you've seen what we've done up there at the junction. If you go down here, and what we know is the big yard. I don't know if you've reached down in the big yard as yet. Right. If you go down into the big yard, you'll see the amazing work that has been done. I mean, Annika, Roxy, the team, I mean, they have ideas. I keep wondering. Last year, I wondered how they were going to top what they did last year, and they surpassed that. I'm already wondering, and I've asked them, do you think you can have a better idea for next year? They assured me they will. They've already been thinking about it. I don't want to put the fear in anyone because we don't can see where this thing is going.
That patriotism that has been shown up there.
Yeah, yes. But it just goes to what Natal is all about. Real community. I mean, myself, Annika, we know what it is growing up in Natal. I mean, a village truly, and you too, Lloyd, No, it was the days when a village really truly raised you. You know, you could not. I was relaying the story to my wife the other day. I passed July one afternoon and did not speak. I got home and got a lashing and only was told because I did not speak to him. But I felt I was man enough not to say good afternoon. But that's just how the village was, you know. Everybody had a hand in raising me. I mean, I sometimes get a little emotional when I think about my path from being a little boy coming up in Natal and the many hands that had a part in, you know, grooming my life. It's amazing. Even you, sir. You were actually my first employer ever, you know. Yeah, my first employer, Lies Nature Garden, you know. So yeah. So you just don't know who you'll be helping along the way when you stretch out a hand and give somebody a little thought farmer who need a little weekend chance to make some money.
Just a correction, Gums Nature
Oh,
Gardens.
Gums Nature Garden. Oh, I was close. I was close. So we're walking down now towards
Which way are we going to walk?
we're gonna walk through this, yeah. This actually where we're going. This was where church was kept, Sunday school was.
This around.
Good. Yeah, where we're going now, we're going down.
Nice for you to recognize that there is what we won. That bench, we won that for being the most patriotic village in 2024. And the other one is going to come right next to it. So you don't have to worry about where it's going to be located. To the Kenroys and the other people around wondering, we have the space ready and waiting. So come on down and we'll give you a seat on the bench. Yes.
And that's it right there.
That's it right there. Kathleen is decked in her Anguilla colors and sitting there. Yeah, look at her hailing. She is. From Atlanta, huh? So we'll put the other one right next to it when we
Accumulate,
yeah, we're gonna keep accumulating. And what I'm proud of though is that we made other villages step up their game. I think that is a tremendous thing for us here in North, that we made people step up their game. Yes.
But the fact of stepping up your game makes Anguilla more beautiful too.
It does, and that's what we want. And we are happy to be the pioneers of getting people to make Anguilla beautiful. You know, we can take that credit unashamedly. Yeah, that's all, of course. Okay, I'm going to turn it back over to Merrick because he was talking about the space.
I don't know if we can follow that act, but we're going down to the big yard, what we call the big yard growing up. In the big yard, there's well our meeting place. We held church there, Sunday school, all the community functions were held in the big yard. I think that it was owned by the Owens, and they graciously allowed us to use that space for many, many years. Yeah. They allowed us to use that space for many, many years until 1983 when this church, Zion Methodist Church, was built. Prior to that, we used the big yard for all our functions. So here was where we played, and I'm sure you can remember our days of playing cricket, football. It was our volleyball court. This is not. As I've gotten older, I realize it's not as big as I thought it was when I was growing up. The space is not that big, but it held everything for us. It held everything for us. A great cricket match has been played here. I'm trying to figure out now how we managed to play boundaries, and we used to have full teams, huh? We used to have full teams. Yes, yes. I mean, the creativity of these young ladies is it's amazing, like it's amazing. It's amazing. I mean, the ideas that they have, and then to get the guys, the workmen, to bring it to fruition. And when you see this, look at this. Is it possible that one village can win first and second place?
First, second, and third.
Okay. I mean, we can't be greedy. We can't be greedy. Which one are you taking?
Lloyd, you're going to see the salt. And I'm going to speak to the Bible thing that says, if the salt has lost its flavor, wherewith shall it be salted? Anguilla is the salt of Anguilla. We keep bringing the salt. We keep bringing the flavor. We have not lost our salt. And that's why we have the salt pond here, because it is the home of so many people lived off of salt. That is why we have this salt replica right here going on. Last year, this is what won us the prize of most patriotic village. So we thought it was important for us to bring it back again to remind us of where we came from. Because if you look across here, everybody in North Hill almost had somebody in the salt pond, going into the salt pond to walk every day. So it represented our livelihood as a people. I think our history is impressive, and we need to showcase our history. We spend a lot of time talking about the things that plague us as a people, but we don't celebrate enough the things that unite us as a people, or the things that would have brought us to where we are.
Just a bit of history. Volin, Don, and a number of us got received in this church. Tandata, you get received in here too, right?
She was born
in this building.
She was born here.
No.
Yeah, we were conforming here.
Yeah. We went to school, all of us went to church.
Churches,
School in
yeah.
here, church. With
Exactly.
Reverend Dodds.
Yep. And as a bit of history, the sweetest palm syrup tree ever in the whole.
Yeah.
Okay. I
That's right down there. That was a
ex-
sad day when they took that out.
yeah. No, but there's a lot of history. I mean, and I think the ladies did such a fine job of tying in the history of the area with the history of this particular spot. I was happy. I know the building was destroyed, but that the foundation of this place was left because, like you said, you were received here. We have White down there who was born here.
What is it conform?
Confirm.
Change the word.
The
Yes.
Methodist says conform.
Confirm, right. Why who was born here.
If you could just spit your camera around. This is our Sombrero builder. He built Sombrero that we saw up there. This is Reuben Richardson Rat. This is our builder of the Sombrero, the master carpenter of Sombrero. He single-handedly built that sombrero structure up there. Yes, because he prefers to work in silo.
So lad, you can come closer so we can actually see. We can actually see. Bernard is Bernard is showing you how things were done. Salt was mined, pulled from, and these are the flats. And in the flats, we actually have particles that were used. This is actual salt from the pond that was picked from the pond. And in the bags, crocus bags, made crocus bags, sugar bags. You have the flask. We used to have the coffee. Well, we have flat, but they used to have their rum. Well, it's still rum. They had their rum. They had their water. They had a little cup to go with their water and such. But these and the little rice and peas that them eat already. We eat their rice and peas already. But we try to come as close to our history and replicate what.
Need more sugar on the coffee.
And Lloyd, we like to show off. We like to show off in North Hill. Because we work hard for North Hill. So we actually printed a picture of our prize last year, which says our plaque, our prize, it's a plaque because the prize is up there. The plaque says the ATB Most Patriotic Village Award 2024 is presented to North Hill Village. So that's last year. Next Friday, you'll see us with the one for this year.
Right. I got you.
I know you want to go closer so you can actually see. Oh, perfect, Lloyd.
So, I know teen everybody who had water boots, right? And what we had what we call fish pot shoes. You could get them from my buddy in particular.
Who's right down the shop that was right down
Now, I also know too that teen everybody had gloves, and the tubes of the bicycles were put on the tips of your fingers in order to help when you put your fingers under the bed of salt or the cake of salt.
That's what you're seeing there.
I know too that in the bag you also had Vaseline. For if you get a cut, the fresh water, wash out the salt, you put the Vaseline, and then it had a leaf. It's called French milkweed, a big leaf. You put over that, and you strap it around, and you're good. You're good to go. So, the salt history, it goes deep for those of us who know about it. And it was the livelihood of many. And on a Friday, Anguillians saw new banknotes. Every Friday, Anguillians saw new banknotes. $1, $5. And those of the guys who were able to pick a lot of salt, they didn't have $1 or $5 or $20. They had $100. And they were rich. You know. I don't know if anybody remember anything about the salt harvesting. What about Tanny? What about Tanny granddaughter? Could tell us a little bit about the salt harvesting. I remember Lionel said on a certain area in the pond, Tanny went in a mud hole and she got sucked in up until her chest. And he said after that, afterwards there, all the pains that Tanny used to have, they were gone. Who remember who remember this? A lady right back there when you're in the pond you used to hear her voice.
Yes. Oh, Miss Louise, you heard her from everywhere. Miss Louise, yes.
Yes. There was a condition that she had that she burped and she burped very loud. So this is history, you know, funny history. It make you laugh. It make you wonder if it really happened, but it did happen. Um,
My mother used to say she used to tie, sew the salt bags, and then when they fill them, she used to sew it. Yeah,
yeah.
like you say, yeah, she used to sew it to make
Um, then if we're talking about salt, we also have to talk about Joseph Lloyd being the superintendent. Well, the tally keeper in terms of how much loads you come down with and what size you had. Now, each flat had a different size, which would measure barrels. How much barrels your flat carry would be based on the size that you had. Henville, um, Gertrude, Cinty. These are folks who lived in North Hill. Um, I don't remember Mangat's.
Mangas, yes.
Okay, but no.
Yes,
Who?
yes.
Gabe, yeah.
Eileen,
Yep. Yep.
Melda, then we had Berries, we had Minky.
Yes.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
So see, like literally, our sign literally tells you, Saltpicton is who we are.
Yes.
And from North, being from North, that's our culture.
Yes.
So we recognize our culture. We try to get as many young people to know of it. I myself learned a lot about this last year, and I was honestly so learning about the salt pan and how things work for me was a big thing. So we were very happy to put this forward and let the younger ones know, because I know a lot of them still learning. The girls and the boys, are still learning about these things. They were so excited to see all the things that were being done and brought forward. So we are getting there bit by bit, and I think that's right, Annika. That is true patriotism. Not just portraying, but it's a learning experience that we are spreading out.
And again, I know that we are in a competition. I know that. But when we started doing this, we weren't in a competition. We do this because we love our village and we love our country, and this is what we do. And I know that the award says the most patriotic village, but patriotism isn't only about the village. Patriotism is about making sure that we share the history of Anguilla to everybody. And I think that is what being a good patriot is, ensuring that history lives on, culture lives on. And that is what we are trying to do in North Hill. And with the persons around us and those who are not here, I saw Hubbard just got here. We strive to ensure that Anguillians know who we are as a people, from whence we came, why we are where we are, and where we are aspiring to go.
Yes, Lloyd. Everything that Annika said, and just to add to it, I mean, I think you mentioned it. When we go up at the Sombrero display, and when we come here, every person in Natal have someone who either work on Sombrero or work in the pond. So it's really who we are. It's our culture. Some of us who did not actually get to work in the pond or was too young at the time, we've heard the stories. We've heard the stories. We've heard the stories, and you can't forget from whence you came. You can't ever forget from whence you came. So what these young ladies have done, I can't stop saying it. It's amazing. It's amazing. And I think a young man last night, Zach said, they don't learn these things in school. They don't learn about Sambiro in school. They don't learn about the pond in school. So we're actually giving an education to the youngsters. So again, amazing job.
Well, my mother just shared something more with me that I learned just now. So see, it's a continuous learning experience. So my grandmother Tan used to wash the laundry for the steamer that used to come from Trinidad for the salt. They used to come in dirty black
Yes,
and leave sparkling white. So
would help her.
and Need, who was across the way, would come and help. So see, I just learned that. So everything is a learning experience here. So you're invited to come to North Hill. There's a lot to see, a lot to learn. The board at Sombrero teaches you a lot of the history. Some of these double as actual photo props. We're just asking you to be very careful, not to destroy, but come and take in everything that we are doing here in North Hill. North Hill is just a little portion of Anguilla, and we extend the congratulations to all persons, all villages that are taking part. Driving from home this morning, going to West End to work, Anguilla is beautiful. So we commend all the villages that are taking part and those who are still planning on walking to get to that. Anguilla Day is next week, Friday, and we hope to see a lot more. Excuse me? The Friday, Lloyd. We hope to see a lot more done throughout the island. So we welcome you to North Hill.
And thank you for staying with us. Thank you, Lloyd, for coming and doing this with us. And thank you to the viewers who stayed with us throughout this and those who are going to look at it later. Thank you so much. We do appreciate it. A very happy Anguilla Day to all of you. And remember why we do celebrate Anguilla Day. We celebrate it because persons fought for us to be free. And as Anguillans, we are still strong, still proud, still free. Thank you.